What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another daily drop brought to you by TarHeelIllustrated.com. I'm THI staff writer Jacob Turner. Joining me as he always does is our very own publisher, Andrew Jones. And AJ, we're here for a Carolina football related drop in this episode. And we're going to be talking about a topic that's kind of coming out of left field a little bit. It's not a topic we've ever discussed before. It's not a topic that necessarily has to do anything with X's and O's of football, personnel, anything like that. As we're going to be talking about Mack Brown's weight loss and why it's important. Now, I know you've had some interactions with Mack recently with press conferences. I saw him a couple weeks ago at the Showtime camp. I know right now, based on what we've heard from him, he's lost 30 plus pounds, probably going on 40 at this point.
About 35, yeah.
Looks absolutely fantastic. And I know you can speak to this as well, because I know a couple years ago you started doing your 10,000 steps a day and really lost a lot of weight doing that. And we were talking about it off camera, kind of became addicted to that working out part. Yeah. And I think Matt's kind of in the same boat now as well. So talk to me a little bit about the weight loss, because obviously somebody a little bit older like Mack is, with the job that he has, the stress that comes with it, and the sheer amount of hours that go into it, being as healthy as you possibly can is a plus in every aspect of life, but especially in a field that Mack works in, that, like I said, is just so high stress and just so go 24/7. So talk to me about his weight loss a little bit and why it's important, not only for him, but for the program and for everybody surrounding Carolina football.
I've had 4 or 5 conversations with him away from the press conference about weight loss, about mine, what I'd done, and just he asked me a few questions last summer and the summer before about it, and he's tried to do a lot of the right things, and I know that with the walking to and from work every once in a while, sometimes I've seen him walking on campus, and he'll make reference every once in a while, you got to get 10,000 steps a day like AJ does, and I appreciate that, because it really has stabilized me personally with getting that and having that as a daily anchor. Like, no matter what, I'm sick as a dog, I'm going to get my 10,000 minimum. I'm traveling and I got to catch 2 different flights and that kind of stuff. I'm the guy with my game bag over my shoulder and carrying my luggage and walking back and forth in airports, even ones like in South Bend, where you see the same people every 4 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So I have a tremendous appreciation for what Mack's done, especially at his age. So the older you get, it's harder to lose weight. And this is important because I really appreciate and admire the fact that Mack is willing to publicly say, I was doing something wrong, and now I'm changing it and I'm doing something right. I think that this sends a tremendous message to his team. And he did say this in the press conference last time we talked to him publicly, that I'm telling these kids, you got to eat right. Got to stay in shape. You got to stick to the program. And he's like, I'm out of shape, and I'm not sticking to it myself. So it's
lead by example
that if I'm not doing it. Mm-hmm. So I think that there's a byproduct of him getting healthier personally for his family and for himself, is that it's a tremendous lesson. It's tremendous inspiration for the kids, because they see him doing that. And I know that when Larry Fedora was at Carolina, Larry was a workout fiend. He'd wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, he'd give himself that same statement about the day, and then he'd go work out. Larry was in incredible shape. I saw some photos of him. He and Christy were on our anniversary, and they were over in Europe or something. And Larry's built like he's 22 still. I know. And more power to him. And the players always admired that. When they used to do the Greek dodge stuff, after dodgeball, at the end of Showtime, Larry would participate. So I always thought that was good. And with Mack, the kids see it. The fans see it. He's committed to sticking around. And he's going to be head coach of North Carolina for quite some time. And to help him do that, he's got to be in better shape, and he acknowledged that. So the first time I asked him how much weight, and this was after a press conference, it was 25. I think the next time it was 30. So now I'm thinking it's around 35. And he said it's about 35. He said he has more to go, about 15. So you're looking at 50 pounds. Mm-hmm. You're looking at someone his age losing 50 pounds. And I just think, I don't need to say this. This is no-brainer stuff here across the board. That's huge. Now, how is he doing it? We can get into how he's doing it here in a minute, but I love it.
Yeah.
I love to see people take control. I don't care if it's Mack Brown or if it's someone down there. I actually got a neighbor that she's out walking, and I run into her a couple of times, and we've had conversations, and she's trying to get in the groove. And I told her, I said, look, if I can get into the groove, I've done 10,000 plus steps, 792 consecutive days.
That's impressive, man.
If I can do it, you can do it. And I've done it just when it's been very hard sometimes. So I see her out there once in a while. And it's great because she's helping herself, she's helping her family, and Mack's doing the same thing. I just think it sends a really good message to the program and to the fans, because some fans have commented, some of the honestly, and I know Mack won't have a problem with me saying this, there were times where I wouldn't run certain photos that we would get of Mack because I didn't want people to focus on that in the photo, and I know he understands. So I wouldn't, because I want them to focus on why we're running the photo, not the photo, if that makes sense. That's the journalism in the photo. What's the story? You got to put a picture of Mack up there. I don't want it deviated. Just like anything, you try to keep people straight on the path that you're trying to direct them. You don't want to do things in journalism that allows them to deviate on their own, and then they never get on that path. That kind of misses the whole point of why we're doing journalism. So
exactly.
This year, we won't have a problem with those photos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a microcosm of Mack, but we've talked about it in the years he's come back in his Mack Brown 2.0 era of he's a guy that's adaptable. He's a guy that's willing to change. He's not stubborn in that respect, and it reflects in his weight loss journey too. Because in order to lose weight, and you can speak to this, and even I can speak to this a little bit, because a few months ago, I used to be somebody who just strictly did cardio, and I had 10K step rule and everything like that, and I liked it, but I would look in the mirror and I didn't love what I was seeing muscle wise. So over the last 3 or 4 months, I've been lifting weights at least 4 or 5 times a week. And I've gotten to a point now that I know Mack can probably attest to this. And a lot of people watching this can attest to that, where you get addicted to it. And if you go a day or two without working out, you feel worse for it, and it keeps you accountable. Yeah. So I think Mack being able to do that, again, speaks to not only who he is as a person, but it also comes back to who he is as a coach, because he is adaptable. He's not stubborn. He is willing to change. And we've seen it this offseason. We've seen it in previous off seasons as well. So before we get off this podcast, excuse me, I honestly don't, I've heard some things of how Mack's lost his weight, but talk to me a little bit more real quickly about what he's done to lose that weight, because it's important. And I also think it could be an inspiration for other people that are watching this, that are maybe like, I want to start my fitness journey, but I don't really know how. But if a guy at Mack's age can do it, then if you're 30, 40, 50, even 60 years old watching this, you can do it too. I mean, age is nothing but a number, in my opinion. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, a couple of things real quickly. You're spot on with everything that you're saying about it. And also the weightlifting stuff, that's what's next for me. Because now I'm getting to a point where I've lost enough. I've got to tone some. Mm-hmm. I don't want to have to go shopping for a man's ear. That our Seinfeld people will appreciate that reference. So a lot of people have been doing this intermittent fasting, which has been very for me. Just so people are wondering, I do low carb. I went to my doctor 6 years ago. She said, "Do you want to see your daughter get married?" I said, "Yes." Well, it changed your life. So
yeah, that'll make you change real quick.
But I had gained a lot in a short period of time after an injury, and I was this close to dying in 2009. And then, so I had to recover. So I went the wrong way after that for a while. So now I had to reverse things and go back the right way. So people have their sources of inspiration. That's still one of my sources of inspiration. But when I do low carb and I walk, I get my steps. That's what I do. That's what works for me. And it's not a diet; it's a lifestyle. For a lot of people doing intermittent fasting, I've met quite a few, talked to quite a few people just in the last 6 weeks that have done that.
I do it a little bit. Like, I don't really eat during the day, usually lunch wise, until like 1 or 2 o'clock. I just drink coffee in the morning. That's really it. So I kind of do it in a way. I snack a little bit more than probably some people do who are really sticking to it, but I can vouch for it a little bit too.
Yeah. Some people, a lifestyle. These are lifestyles. I hate the word diet. It's got to be a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. The diet means you just do this temporarily, and then you go back to the way you were. And that's the way you were, puts you in a position where you need to do a diet anyway, right? Mm-hmm. So he's doing intermittent fasting where he doesn't eat until 11 or until 11 or noon in the morning. And he doesn't eat past 8 o'clock. And he's limited himself to one diet peach Snapple, I think it is, a day. Okay. And he says he sips on it. the day to get a little. Yeah, I'm a water guy. I've got a water right here. I'm a water guy, and my thing is Diet Dr. Pepper with dinner. That's my thing. And then when I go to Virginia to see my friends, I have a couple of Michelob Ultras.
Of course. That's a little calorie.
Concert with
calorie though, AJ.
Or a concert with my wife, which has been very prolific lately because she's in the concert realm now that she lived December 2nd when she almost died. So Mack is doing that, and I think when you have such a busy schedule, one thing you may not be able to control how much you can get out and walk. There's some days I barely make 10,000 steps. There's some days I get 25,000, right? But in Mack's line of work, it's really hard sometimes to maybe get those 10,000 steps. But he could control waiting till noon. He could control not eating after 8. He could control smaller bits throughout the day to keep the furnace burning and not drinking more than one Diet Peach Snapple or whatever it is. So a lot of people out there can do these things without having to go into high stress, time-consuming walking or cardio work or weightlifting, whatever it is. The walking's hard for me during the season, Jacob, as you know, because it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, it's just
I work
time-consuming.
12 to 14 hours a day, every day for 8-9 months out of the year. So that's what he's done. And it works, and he's happy. He's committed to it. And again, I think it's a good look for UNC. It's a good look for the program. I think it's one less thing for fans to talk about because they did talk about it before.
Recruiting too. I know a lot of coaches kind of threw that out.
Recruiting too. Yeah. Look, the coaches are saying, well, look at him. He's out of shape. He's old, blah, blah, blah. That's what they've been saying. He knows it. So this is one thing they can take away. They can't say now.
Yeah.
And I do love the message that it sends to the kids because I've heard that not just from Mack. So 100%. I think it's a win-win, and I think it's great. I think it's awesome. I love that. That's far more important than football. And I like that. And as a guy who's made huge changes, I'm going to take an old term. I'll give mad props to Mack.
Yeah. Oh, 100%, man. I mean, as people say, as the old saying goes, I think it's something like, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. You know what I mean? And again,
no doubt.
Yeah. And if people are interested in learning a little bit more, literally just go Google the 10,000 steps a day rule. And I know it sounds like a lot, but really I think you can vouch for this, AJ. If you have the time, getting 10,000 steps isn't really the hard part during the day. The hard part is being consistent with it and doing it every day. That's the tricky part. You can go walk for an hour and a half, maybe not even that, depending on how fast of a walker you are, and get that 10 steps along with other things you do during the day. It's about being consistent with it. So that's why I recommend people starting, because I think some people may use this as a little bit of, and we hope they do, is a little bit of a motivation to start their weight loss journey or start their fitness journey. And I'm telling you, the first thing you can do and the easiest thing you can do is go outside and start walking. Walk an hour a day. Get those 10,000 steps. You're not really doing anything excruciating. We're not saying go run up Keenan Stadium back and forth 50 times. Get those 10,000 steps in and watch what happens. And AJ, Mack Brown, 2 perfect examples. And if AJ and Mack can fit it into their schedule, you can fit it into your schedule too. Trust me.
Yeah, and very quickly, I had no idea. This is the most organic thing we've ever done. I had no idea we were going to turn this into a weight loss infomercial.
Yeah, but I think it's a good opportunity.
But I will say this. And a lot of people commented to me about it. And I used to get comments before in the negative. Whatever. I deserved it. If you're curious, want to learn more about how I did it, reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to tell you because it is a lifestyle change and I'm 1,000 times happier, healthier, and more productive than I ever have been. So, I played 3 sports in high school and I was once pretty good shape. And it kind of sucks to wake up one day when you're a little bit older and you're like, oh man, like you see these great athletes and all of a sudden you see them when they're 45. You're like, what the hell happened? And people are usually disappointed when they see that. You want to see someone look that way and be that way forever. So everybody out there has their own story, their own health story. And a lot of people need to lose weight. And there are a bunch of different ways to do it. So I had my way that I still do. It's my lifestyle. You've been on the road with me. You see how I am. I'm pretty committed to it. I don't deviate from it much. Every once in a while, I'll have a cookie. Okay. And then that's it. So anyway, kudos to Mack, and reach out if you want to learn more about it. I'll be happy to talk to anybody about it.
Definitely. And again, if AJ and Mack can do it, anybody can do it. Trust me, as busy as you guys are. I know
that's the only time I will ever be lumped in the same sentence with Mack Brown. Let's make that clear.
Yeah, no doubt.
You've got legend Mount Rushmore guy, and then you've got little old me.
Yeah, exactly, man. But yeah, guys, again, hopefully this will be a little bit of a motivation to start your fitness journey if you've been doing it, because people always like to kind of say, well, I'll start it next week. There's never a right time. Just do it. And again, I think eventually you'll get kind of addicted to that feeling and the results, and it'll just be second nature. AJ can speak to that. I can speak to that. Heck, Mack Brown can speak to that as well. So appreciate everybody watching. As always, make sure you like the video below. Make sure you share it. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. I've been Jacob Turner. He's been Andrew Jones. See you on the next one. Thanks.
Thanks.